Welcome to Turning Inward. I am Rebecca Polvey, your co-host, and I'm here with Dr. Vivian Carrasco. This is the third episode of our summer 2015 season. We just love that you are here and found us. Today, we will be having a conversation about explore.
This podcast offers you the opportunity to explore new perspectives through compelling interviews with beautiful human beings and words of wisdom and love. This show was created to guide and inspire you. If you're looking for more meaning in your day-to-day life, if you're looking to be wowed by everyday people, if you're on a journey to joy, peace of mind, freedom, or a wild new adventure, then honey, you are in the right place. Welcome to Turning Inward with Dr. Vivian.
Hello, Vivian. How are you today?
I'm good, Rebecca. How are you doing?
Oh, Vivian, I'm fabulous.
You always are fabulous.
I do. I'm fabulous. I'll tell you what. I think we're going exploring today, Vivian.
I'm so excited.
It does. It sounds really exciting. That was so funny when I was thinking about everything. That was the first thing that popped into my head. I think we're going exploring.
Yes.
So maybe we'll discover something new. And I really believe both you and I are very open to that. And I was thinking something else that popped into my head that I'd like to share is I feel like Love.Being.Human is all about exploring. And I'm wondering if that sounds about right to you, Vivian.
That sounds about right to me. Now, Love.Being.Human is all about noticing and about, you use the word discovery. And one of the things that I think we forget as we grow out of our youth is that we discover best through play. So Love.Being.Human is this safe way to notice, just to explore, just to discover, uncover some things that are just, maybe dusty or hidden over. So yes, Love.Being.Human is all about exploring, discovering new solutions, solving your own problems.
Notice, a safe way to notice. I really like that. And I was thinking also about exploring as deciding to try something new or choose a different path. Like, for instance, I get in a real habit when I'm getting ready for work. I just keep putting the same jewelry with the same outfit, and it's just easy not to think about it. So I'm just doing the same thing all the time. And I do have some wonderful things that my husband gave me, pieces of jewelry that I decided one day I'm going to explore and find something different, and I did. And I had things I didn't realize or had forgotten. And I'm wondering if maybe all of us, we have within us just this different way of approaching something, but hadn't taken a look. Or I think I'm trying to suggest perhaps we have always approached or taken a certain path to try and achieve what we want, but maybe we could consider to explore a new way.
I like that. And I think the idea of something being new, but not really new. New because it's something that you're noticing a little bit differently. Like if you look at, I have sunflowers in the house right now. And when you look at them, they kind of look the same. But when you really gaze at them, you actually can see the distinctness of the petals and the differences in the, in the bud. And so it's looking at things a new way, like you said. Like we have all these treasures around us, and they're so they tend to fade into the background when we don't put our attention on them. So where we put our attention is where we'll start to see the details. I like that.
Mm.
Now, some things are better, I think, when you don't put attention on them. Like you said, trying out new jewelry and new clothes, and my face probably went into a scowl because that's not where I like to play. I have this uniform where I like to wear black or white because it makes things very simple for me. But I think that brings up a very good point, is that we each have things that draw our spirit forward, that really elicit our own joy. And they're different. They're so different between us. Yours, mine, individually, everybody's. So I think that as an exercise, an invitational exercise for our listeners, we could, ask ourselves, what do you actually want? What brings you joy? What sounds like fun? Like what feels delicious to you? And ask that, I don't know, a series of days or over a series of weeks, and see how things are different or see how things come up. Because I can see like you mixing and matching all those beautiful pieces of jewelry with your adoring clothes, But for me, I would go, kind of like...
I can see that, baby.
Right? It's kind of like when I talk about the kitchen, it's like the clouds come over. Now, only when it's like individual kitchen stuff. Like if it's a party, I'm all about planning the menu, figuring it out. But kitchen in general, just... I worked through a lot of that, though. There's a story behind that. If we have time, I'll tell it.
Okay. Yeah, it sounds like what works for one might not be the same for another. And I love what you said about something feeling delicious to you. That's great. I love that expression.
Yeah, so, I think those words and those experiences need to be reintroduced to our lives if they're not. Like, what delights you? Like, literally what makes your heart skip? What sort of makes your mouth drop with awe? Like, awe. And it's not, like clouds do that for me. Like I will stop in my tracks for a beautiful cloud. I'm like, oh, wow.
Oh, we saw beautiful clouds when we were driving home yesterday. We went to see a daylily garden. It was beautiful. That was nice. That felt delicious, Vivian.
Cool. Was it the experience? Just the adventure?
Was.
Yeah.
Oh, it was. This woman loves daylilies, and she creates new varieties. And it was amazing. She has over 2,000 different varieties. I think I walked around saying the same, the whole time we were there. It was just lovely. But I was thinking about something, Vivian, when you were talking, and it popped into my head. Let's see if I can grab it back. Sometimes I think people look externally for solutions. And I'm just wondering if can it be that the deeper meaning is if they turn inward and explore, like their own inner wisdom for the solution.
Yes. I think that's exactly the shift in posture. That's exactly what happens for one reason or another. Hopefully it's for a joyful reason because you've achieved everything on your, bucket list, and the outside world, you have all the trappings of success. And you recognize or you realize that this dollar figure in your bank account or these amount of cars and toys just aren't really hitting it for you. They're not filling that meaningfulness that you're looking for. So that can happen from joy, most of the time because we're very stubborn human beings. It happens because we find ourselves suffering. We find ourselves in some form of pain, and we want to ease that pain. And then we do turn towards our own wisdom and listen to the whispers of our own heart. And that sustains our joy. That is, sort of turns that kind of yanking, pulling in, holding tight to just opening and enjoying, kind of moving through life with ease and with flow and with such grace. I think the word that comes to me is grace. Like we begin to grow in grace instead of in the, sort of normal, tangible things that we start to reach for in the world.
Oh, that's beautiful, Vivian. I love that. And is it like being open and having acceptance and just kind of creating a space to explore?
Yeah.
Like stepping out of our comfort zone and try something new or different. And so that's courage also, right? We talked about courage in an earlier podcast.
We did. And I think one of the things that I want to draw or bring into that is that, courage doesn't always roar like a lion. Courage is a very simple, sort of meek kind of emotion, I think. And it's just very simply beginning again. It takes a lot of courage to be in a long-term relationship, to open yourself up. And that happens daily. Mm-hmm. Those aren't these magical, it might have taken some courage to walk down the aisle, but the real courage happens, when you open your eyes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When you open your eyes and you begin your day
yep.
with your partner, with your significant other, with your beloved, that's where the real courage is. And I think that we forget that, courage isn't so much jumping out of a plane. It's not kind of manic and very excitable. It's sort of like a daily movement. And I love that I'm thinking about Love Being Human. It is the daily movement towards love. Mm. It is the conscious choice to be kind, to rediscover. The Latin origin of respect is to look again. Mm. And that's an exploration in and of itself.
So that's like shining a light on a path that we might take.
Yeah, and everyone's path is different. Mm. Your life is your path. My life is my path. Everyone's experience that they're having right this second is their lesson.
Mm. That's beautiful. Vivian, you know me, I'm like details and looking things up. And I always like to look in the scriptures when you give me a new word that we're going to talk about. Sometimes I find something and sometimes I don't. There's something that doesn't resonate with me. So when you said explore, I happened to look and I found a scripture. I'd like to share that if I can.
Definitely.
Okay, it's Galatians chapter 6. And this is the NIV version, and I'm sure everyone's is a little bit different. It's chapter 6, verses 4 through 6. And it starts like this. Make a careful exploration of who you are and the work you have been given, and then sink yourself into that. Don't be impressed with yourself. Don't compare yourself with others. Each of you must take responsibility for doing the creative best you can with your own life. I thought that was just beautiful. It just seemed to fit to me. Do you think so, Vivian?
No, I definitely love it, and I was taking notes.
Yes,
on the words, just the creative best. This when we're exploring, we can almost imagine ourselves on safari. We're sniffing, we're hunting, we're tracking, we're looking for our creative best. I think that is, I think that's so beautiful. And then we do that responsibly. So Love Being Human is exactly that. You are increasing your responsibility because you're not falling into some blind pattern that is a reaction. You are making a conscious choice to your creative best. And we call that love. And honestly, I'm glad that you brought up that Galatians, the version that you read, is the NIV New International Version. Is that what that is?
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, there's a couple different places you can look, like Gateway, and you can select all kinds of versions.
The version that I would look for would be the Catholic version because I'm Catholic. But I think that one of the things that I've actually sort of grown into and can stand in is that we can have that conversation without creating a distance between you and I or between us and the listeners, because all religions agree on love.
Yes, I agree, Vivian. I thought about that it's not if the words are exactly matching, it's the thought and behind it.
The intention, yeah.
Yes, I thought it was so beautiful. It was really, really excited that I wanted to share that with you when I found it.
You know, I think I've used this analogy or this example before, but one of the words that you said when you read that was sink yourself. You know, to immerse yourself, to be in your doing. I think that, you know, coming from a career counseling, career vocational background, you know, there's a lot of folks who sort of find themselves in a job and they don't feel like it's using all of their talents. But in anything that we do, we can completely immerse ourselves in the intention of that. And being a mother and being a wife, that can be just as simple as laundry, dishes, changing diapers. You know, I love to talk about my boys and changing their diapers. I whisper that because I'm like, I probably shouldn't bring that up again. You know, any action that we take in this life deserves our full attention, don't you think?
I agree. And even the smallest thing, if it comes from love in our hearts, I think that is really important.
Because everything is built brick by brick.
Yep.
One step, one brick at a time.
It all matters.
It all matters. You're so right. It all matters.
It does.
Oh, you know what that reminds me of? I had made a note, and if it came up, I wanted to talk about it. If we don't bring our attention to every bit, it's as if we're trying to pull a note out of a song. So instead of listening to the entire melody, the lyrics, the different instruments, it's as if we're trying to pull out one note from the song. So if you say today, you know, if it's a complaint or a criticism, then you're pulling out that note instead of listening to the entire song, instead of appreciating the full melody in front of you.
Well, that's wonderful. That's a really good way to think about things. Well, we want to thank everyone so much for being with us here today. And before we close, I do want to mention that our next podcast episode is Imagine. And if you enjoyed the conversation today, we'd like to invite you to join our inner circle at viviancarrasco.com. And you can sign up there for more tips and tools, simple practices for your spiritual development from Vivian. And maybe if social media is more your thing, our Facebook community is called Within You University. It's a private Facebook group, and you can connect directly with Vivian for support and coaching as you move towards your heart center. And also, if you need more intense or private coaching, just let Vivian know. And I will close with a final thought from Vivian. Like freedom, love demands courage. To change the love we receive, we will have to change our capacity to give love.
Thank you for joining us today here on Turning Inward with Dr. Vivian. If the show moved the needle for you, please leave an honest review in iTunes. And also make sure you cruise on over to viviancarrasco.com and join us for personal strategies and tips to help you move forward. Ciao, baby.